Hello guys, NautoAisDx once again. And before I start my main vlog about Dynasty Warrior 8, but basically really it's more of how the market changed after 2015. New business practices is coming, such as now releasing game with no dub. Usually they do it most of the time in order to get sales. Now they're saying it's okay to release a full game without dub, also raising the MSRP for some game in order to make a profit. Or the worst case scenario now is some $60 game having microtransaction, i.e., Mortal Kombat X. And before that, I think Forza Motorsports 5 and Rise. From what I heard, there was microtransaction, or of course Assassin's Creed Unity. So that's basically what the main vlog is. But first, I want to talk about the hashtag no dub no buy thing. First of all, like I said before, I don't have that mentality of, oh, if the game's not dub, I'm not gonna buy it. How? Because the second rule I have is, if the game is cheap, if it has a big good markdown, yeah, I'll pay it. Like I just bought Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate for the PS4. I bought it for $29.99, $30. I said fine, I'll cut my losses, whatever. There you go. But you also gotta keep in mind that no dub, no buy is there. People will push the shop, will follow that trend, that hashtag. So you just any company, Tecmo Koei, Namco Bandai, Atlas, keep that in mind. But also I want to talk about it. Even so, I understand why some companies they will not put dub anymore in their game, because in order to cut costs and make a profit. Because again, everybody knows business 101 is a company can't accept one a loss, which is that's never okay, never an option. Two, breaking even or barely making a buck. That's also not acceptable, as you're supposed to make big profit, and if you don't, company fade away. THQ and Midway were no more. Sega of America now have to be restructured into a small mobile company in America, or division. It's still console in Japan, but in America now they're just a small mobile division, from what I heard. Capcom, to some extent, also had to lay off a lot of people, including Market Jerk, Christian Sven. So I understand that. But with that said, in my belief, I still believe that if you you put dual language on games, which they did with Tales of Zetaria, the latest Tales game, good move. There will be more sale. You just put dub or sub, that's not gonna work, because you got the people who like sub, they're upset. People that only likes dub and you're not doing it, like Tales of Hard R for the PlayStation Vita, they get upset. Instead of buying it at full price, they rather wait a markdown, because that's kind of like a rip-off. That's the problem. And please don't say, well, in the old days, in the 90s, the Super Nintendo, there was no voice acting. Yeah, that's in the old days. The market changed, the technology changed. If we gotta evolve, we don't need to relive the past, please. So, with that said, even I understand the business why they do it. If you see any of my comment, if you sometimes see me being salty and ranty, I do apologize. But to some extent, I'm always gonna keep drilling that thing. I'm always gonna say to Namco Bandai, Tecmo Koei, or any company who's gonna admit dub on their game, I'm gonna make my comment, be mature about it, but be aggressive about it until they drill it in to understand that some people like dub, some people like sub, to make it to please both sides of the fan, dual language. So I'm gonna always drill it in time and time again. I'm not gonna stop about it. I'm gonna, even to some extent, no offense, bug Namco Bandai doing it, Atlas to some extent, Tecmo Koei, and I know Chin Sun Soon, the European community manager. I get respect for you, but I do understand now that you're in a bind. That, from what I heard, you did get a gag order from the company to not really discuss it. If you have to follow that rule, so be it. But again, I'm not going to stop. I'm always going to drill it in on Twitter, YouTube, Anywhere, anything, there's a comment. You see my gamer tag name, I'm gonna keep saying it. No offense, man. I'm gonna do it until they drill to understand that sometimes it's just a good idea to have dual language. Alright, so with that, here's my main vlog about Dynasty Warrior 8 and how the market have changed as of 2015. So the last topic I'll be talking about for this batch of vlogs is my thoughts on the English dub on Dynasty Warriors 8. But to be really precise is how the gaming business again is changing. So let me explain what's going on and what is this change. Well, of course, you've been noticing for a while. Of course, everybody should know this history. Namco Bandai and Tecmo Koei, basically some of their game, they're basically releasing game in the US without dub. And it's becoming a like, let's just say a normal thing or an acceptable thing, because people always say, or the fans basically say, well, at least they're bringing it out, they're willing to bring it out. So I want to basically talk let's just say a tidbit about that. This has always been the common argument. Well, at least they're going to bring it out. You should be happy. Because, you don't want to take, you can't always have your cake and eat it too. Well, that's true. But in the perspective of business versus consumer, you're going to have to take your cake and you have to eat it too. Because you're paying a lot of money for the game that you're trying to support. And a lot of this company, they don't really see your support being effective. Like, well, at least they're buying it. That's good enough. And again, can this situation backfire and go the other way around? Yes, it can. Such as one of the game from Capcom, they released a game long time ago, Senkaku Basara 3 Samurai Heroes. Good game. It's a Dynasty Warrior by Capcom. It is repetitive, not a lot of content, but it is a fun game if you like hack and slash. It's like a comedic game learning about the feudal era. Okay, so what happened basically, there was an expansion version of that game, and when US fan asked, hey, are you going to bring that in America? Sven, at the time was working, Capcom said, yeah, I don't think Capcom's going to release this. So basically, like, no, tough luck, they're not going to release it because due to the quote-unquote not satisfactory sales on Samurai Hero, Senkaku Basara 3 Samurai Hero. They wanted 800 or 80,000, and they only got 60,000. And there was even an argument for that one. Said, "Hey, that's good enough, right? Right?" And according to Sven, no, it's not. Apparently, they didn't make any profit. So again, I don't know about the business side of the video game company, but I guess so. Whatever. So they didn't want to bring it out. And at one point, even one fan said, well, would you ever consider releasing it minus the dub? Just have it sub like what Tecmo Koei was doing with their Musou game? And Sven, the guy that I don't like the guy. That's why I call him the market jerk. But this guy had a point, and I hate to say this, I got to give him a bit prop for this. He said, well, if we do that, the sales probably going to be even less than before. So basically saying, yeah, now you get less fans buying it because some of the fans said, well, no dub, no buy, which that is his hashtag, or it's becoming a hashtag. So there you go. So he was like, yeah, he was smart in that part. It's going to be less now because it's one of those situations, and I hate to say this word, but it is something they get this in situation. If you heard this term, is damn if you do, damn if you don't. Which basically means whatever decision they'll make, the outcome is probably going to be negative. So in case with Senkaku Basara 3 Samurai Hero expansion, let's say they did bring it out, full dub, dual language, full dub, they bring it out. They probably cost a lot of money because, again, whether you like it or not, dubbing, especially in the US, is expensive. A lot of time, that risk is not really, you don't get your reward back. So let's just say, chances are, once again, they probably just broke even. Remember, no company will ever want to break even. When they break even, that's basically cutting their loss and just moving on. Okay, well, there you go. They tried the other way. Okay, well, release it without dub, just all sub. Yeah, you're probably gonna have some sale. It's probably gonna be less because there are some people, including myself, who prefer dub on Japanese games because I don't read video game. I play video game. Again, that's probably gonna be another less sale. It's probably same situation, same outcome. Well, didn't make any profit. We just broke even. Well, whatever. Let's move on. Or even a third damn decision, excuse the language, they don't come out. People get pissed at Capcom. They call them names, and of course, not having a lot of money in the bank, that they have to rely on other company to make their games, i.e., Street Fighter 4 for the PS4, and Resident Evil Revelations for the Vita 2, and Street Fighter 5, which Sony is basically flipping the bill. They're the one that's giving them money to Capcom to make Street Fighter 5. And that's, yeah, I know that's kind of sad. Well, Nintendo did it with Bayonetta, so fair game. I know it's a case by case basis, but it's fair game. So that's the problem sometimes. And basically, that's what happened. If there's too much negativity, you refuse to buy a game just because there's no dub, they don't release it. The point is, the outcome is going to be negative. So what happened was in Dynasty Warrior 8, because a lot of people they complained, including myself. I even bugged the Tecmo Koei Europe manager, and the reason why Europe is more active than the US guy, the US division. And the guy is really passionate about Tecmo Koei games. He loves Tecmo Koei games. I even talked to the guy. I keep bugging him. You gotta do something about this dub, man. Come on, you gotta dub your game. And unfortunately, the community manager, the Europe division, basically even said that he is in the bind. Let's just say he's getting flack on both sides. Some of the fans being harassing him, saying you gotta do something about the English dub. Manager side, the upper management said, well, we gotta make some money, and we'll do whatever it takes some money, even if we have to basically lower our morale. And that's the problem now in today's, I guess, gaming, in the gaming business now. Apparently, most of these companies have low morale, unfortunately. And sometimes the problem is you got an argument of legality versus morality. I mean, in my opinion, morale is more important than legal issue. But unfortunately, in business, sometimes in order to make money or basically protect your business or save your business, you gotta have to lower your morale and quote unquote, excuse the language, be a dick about it. As long as it's not legal, because even so that your morale is high, a lot of times, whether you like it or not, to some extent, the fact is you don't make money. So, it is what it is. Like, look what happened to THQ. Maybe their morale was high. No one knows what happened. Sega right now, especially the US division, they're basically restructured. There's no more Midway. Warner Brothers bought Midway. So people wonder what happened to Midway. Warner Brothers Interactive bought them. So they own the rights for Midway. So again, whatever, it is what happened. Can't change the past. So I have the problem. So that's why, like, in Tecmo Koei, if the game they think doesn't sell well, they won't add dub. Such as most common thing is the Musou series, unless it's a Dynasty Warrior series. They didn't do it with Samurai Warrior. They didn't do it in Warriors Orochi, and it's becoming a norm, and it is frustrating, but at the same time, it is a business. And also, back to my argument about auditor bringing it out. The way I see it is, when someone basically says, oh, well, I need to bring it out. The way I see it, it's a game, and I read it from a person on the internet. Got a prop to this person. I love what this person said. It is like a game being held hostage unless you accept the third. Oh, okay, we're not going to release the game unless you basically got the right term. So consumer bow down to us or we're not going to release it. again, the morale there is not really there. It's very low. But like I said, because of the situation with Senkaku Basara 3, Samurai Hero, the expansion, which never came out in America, yep, it was a jerky move for Capcom, but it was something they had to do for profit wise. And of course, wasn't there any like consequence for doing that? Yeah, they didn't have a lot of money in the bank at the time when they did that. My hypothesis is if they probably released that game, they probably had more. They probably can make more money. But again, oh boy. But like I said, the market's been changed, and this is why what happened with Dynasty Warrior 8. Tecmo Koei was willing to dub Dynasty Warrior 8. It was great. It was okay. I'm not complaining, because again, like I said to myself personally, I don't read video games. I read along. That's why I like the dub. Yeah, and for people wondering, man, why is it so cheesy when they like in Dynasty Warrior 8? Why is it people talking that weird, poetic, romance, stylish conversation? Let's just say that. Well, the title says it all: Romance of the Three Kingdom, and basically the book itself is a story. It's based on a history, but it is a story. But it's also there's a reason why the word romance is there. Three Kingdom because it's Wu, Shu, and Wei. Romance because it's war, love and war. And again, the way they tell a story is like in a fantasy perspective with a lot of romance. That's why. That's basically it. So that's the reason why it's a little bit cheesy. And for people like, oh, dub versus sub, oh, the sub better than dub, you should really like dub. I'm gonna say, or sub. I'm gonna say one thing. I got no problem with sub. If you guys love sub on your game, on your anime, whatever. But please, don't go out and make comments saying, oh, sub is superior than dub. Dub is crap. It's not necessary. I mean, seriously, it's not necessary, man. Come on, people. Some people like dub. Some people like sub. It's an option. It's their opinion, their preference. It's an option. Option is always a good thing. Why is it that there's always an argument with English dub versus Japanese sub? It's just like the console war. Just relax. Love your game. Love your anime. Love your show. Love your games. Let's move on. Yeesh. And the only reason the problem with video game is that, like I said, they're releasing retail game without it. So I feel like it's an incomplete game. You want me to pay full price for it? That's kind of like a ripoff. And I know, again, in business, because they don't make any money. Whatever. So, anyway, like I said, they did dub on Dynasty Warrior 8, but like I said, it was a limited dub. There were areas where it's supposed to be dubbed, they omitted it. And there was some area that the dub is okay. But the thing about that is, I guess, to some extent, I've been also thinking too much speaking dub, maybe not a good thing. It's like, man, it's like every time I flip the screen or change the screen, oh, there's always voice here, voice that. It needs to stop the voice for a while. So maybe Dynasty Warrior 8, I'll give it a pass. I mean, it's good they dub it. And I'll give it a pass that they didn't dub certain area. Because they kind of did that also with Samurai Warrior 2. If you played the tower game, the tower challenge, they also didn't sub the tower. Which is, again, that's fine. I just want it to be dubbed. I mean, it's okay not dubbing everything, but at least dub at least the game part. That's what I'm just saying. So that's my opinion about Dynasty Warrior 8. But in the full about this market, a lot of the markets has been changing a lot. And another company that I'm a little bit got a gripe is Namco Bandai. One of them is they also have games that they don't really dub. They don't dub the game. Sword Art Online Hollow, they didn't dub that game, but I heard the game was mediocre at best. Can understand. The One Piece Pirate Warrior they didn't dub. I still don't understand why they won't dub the game, for crying out loud. But again, probably the same common reason is, excuse me, is trying to cut costs, hopefully to get money back. I mean, they got a lot of games that, in my perspective, in my opinion, I think if they do dual language, they'll sell more. That's just my opinion. They'll probably sell more. I know it doesn't look like it, but I believe. That's why the latest Tales game, Tales of Zetaria, Namco Bandai, excuse me, good move, dual language. That's what people want. Give people an option. I'm kind of sour what you did with Tales of Heart R. That not only you didn't dub it, you assume people want sub. Not everyone. Are you gonna basically let, quote unquote, sorry, the language dick to the people who prefer dub? Oh, because we're just gonna cut some losses. At least the game's gonna come out. Again, I hate that mentality that, oh, at least the game's gonna come out. I'm sorry, I can't accept that. I mean, thank goodness they did dub it option. That's why I always believe, as an industry standard, dual language should be in the game. Even if it has to be a DLC, heck, I'll even pay English DLC. And the problem is, you know why they're not going to do it? Because to some extent, even if they do it, not a lot of people are going to buy them. And they're probably going to lose a lot of money because, again, there's a lot of big issue here. So a little big issue is when you put a DLC, say in the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store, you do gotta pay for a server, and those server doesn't. They're not cheap. And the sad part is for every time, I think for every a day pass, they gotta pay for it. So again, think about that. That's also one of the reasons why. So, I mean, it is frustrating that some of the games are not dubbing it. I think it's BS in my opinion. Again, game company, you gotta give dual language as an industry standard. Please. Please. Excuse me. Excuse me. Let me drink some water here for a sec. Alright. So, like I said, it's always nice to dub your game. Namco Bandai, you got a lot of games from Japan, but yeah, you don't want to dub them because you want to cut costs. Oh, at least they're going to come out. Again, that bad mentality. I mean, I was well aware that J versus Superstar. I did talk about that, but that was the left field. I knew that game wasn't going to be dubbed because of multiple reasons. One, the license holder are different. Two, some of them the anime never been dubbed. Three, some of the voice actors are from different production. So yeah, I can understand, but it would be nice. I mean, like I said, I'll pay full price if they do it. But Namco Bandai, they're feeling comfortable for not really releasing the game with dub, because then people will just bite the dust. Oh yeah, at least it comes out. Again, that mentality. Pirate Warrior 3, same deal. I'm not really sure about Naruto because, oh my gosh, I mean, believe it or not, I like the Naruto Ultimate Storm series, but lately I'm falling behind. I'm still working on the second game. I gotta start playing that game. This is what happens when you have a lot of backlog. Okay, enough sidetrack there. I don't know. I think that game had I know Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse also had dub from what I heard, so that was cool. But I don't know. I don't understand why not Warriors or Pirate Warrior. I don't understand why this does not dub. That doesn't make sense. So again, heck, guess what's another one? If you heard, Atlas is doing Attack of Titans, and that game's not going to be dubbed. So, but then probably it's going to be cheap, and that's also only the eShop exclusively, because that's another thing I'll be talking about it later. Yeah, because another thing also, what's happening now beside Namco Bandai and Tecmo Koei is Atlas also in this category of the market's being changed. So if you've never heard of this, but you're going to notice this is happening. so far, let's see. Okay, three of the games were selling it for $50, and I didn't really bother knowing this until too late. But yeah, they had so far in the 3DS they had three games that were gonna sell it an MSRP of $50, which is first Persona Q, that's already out. Another one is Eternal Dungeon 2 or Eternal something. I forget. It's one of those dungeon type game. The second one is a remake from the DS. That's gonna be $50. And Devil Survivor 2 Overclock. Another one. That's $50. But here's the problem. The standard price MSRP for a 3D game should be $40. But in my honest opinion, it should be $30. Man, companies are sometimes it shows. I know they're not being greedy, but the way it shows is just I don't know. So anyway, back to Atlas. Excuse me. Yes, if you heard about this term, Atlas tax, Atlas taxes. So what is that? Well, Atlas tax basically is they're trying to make their game premium, but in order so the reason why they're making like some like 3DS game premium, so they have a good reason to put it a $50 price tag. Because remember, most common rule, thanks to Sony's rule since in the PS1 era is, well, right now for a 3DS game, the maximum price you can put for 3DS is $40. Unless you make a premium edition, then you can raise the price. You get away with it, you know, but sometimes that's what it is. And the reason why Atlas was doing that, they finally admitted because they said, according to them, apparently localizing games for them, they're not making a lot of money back. And one of the problem is when they basically dubbed the game. According to them, that when they dubbed the game, they're really not making a lot of money back. So the way they did it was, well, in order to make profit, to some extent, at least make a little bit of profit, is we'll put Atlas taxes and we'll raise the game's price for $10 and say it's a premium. BS it may be, but I mean the key trick there is be patient. It'll eventually go down. Yeah, that's not good for consumer, bad for business. So again, the market's been changed now. You're trying to raise price, putting taxes on game in order just to meet ends. Unfortunately, again, same goes with Namco Bandai and same thing with Tecmo Koei because if you're wondering for a while here, is some people always ask, okay, how come the PS3 version of this game are only download? How come there's no retail disc? All right. First of all, if people heard about this, what people don't know sometimes, there is also a policy that exists. And I don't know if it still exists, but I know for a fact this policy doesn't exist on the PS4. And yeah, the PS4. I think it still exists on the Vita and to the PS3. And that is, if a game is not fully English, you can't excuse me, you can't have it as a retail disc. It can only be a download. They're not even gonna give you a chance to put in a real retail disc, even if you want to. And again, what happens to that is people get pissed. I'm not gonna buy this digital. Screw you. Blah 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 blah. So unless there's only two rules for that. Unless it has English dub, if it's a multi-platform game, or two is exclusive to Sony platform. Okay. So, but suddenly you say, wait a minute. Okay, this game is exclusive to the Sony platform. Why is it still not dubbed? That's the catch. Even so that they allowed the company also have an option not to put it as a physical release, only as a digital. Then some of you guys say, well, again, man, why is this company changing the market? Why are they being dick? And most common reason is to cut costs. Because what people also don't understand is having it released as a physical copy does cost a lot of money. And again, that money can probably go to them because digitally there's no middle. Well, there's sort of a middleman, but you don't have to deal with the instruction booklet, the Blu-ray disc, and the cases, the graphic for the cover, the plastic, the factory, you're hiring the factory, etc., 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 you can cut that out and make that money back to the company. Again, it is a business. It the moral be low than legality, because again, it's not illegal, but the moral is low because what if you have a guy don't have an internet and you want to buy the game? Oh well, I'm screwed because I can't afford the internet. But again, the sad part is a lot of this game company as of right now is social Darwinism, aka survival of the fittest. They'll do whatever it takes to make a profit, even be a dick. And speaking of being a dick, oh, this is what I'm probably gonna get flack on, but I'm sorry, I have to give my opinion about this. Mortal Kombat X, or the 10th game of the Mortal Kombat series. Excuse me. The way I see about this game is a game is like this Mortal Kombat 10 or X is a rose with a very sharp thorn in the stem. Why? The game is good. I heard the story is good. Gameplay is good. A lot of improvement from the past game. Yet the business there is shoddy. Why? One, Goro, the pre-order DLC. Apparently, people were saying Goro, and again, rumor has it that the 4 DLC characters are on the disc. Disc-like content. And so people heard about that. People hated that with Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Okay, so let me talk about disc-like content here a little bit. You gotta understand again, this is gonna be legality versus morality. It is a low moral, not really a moral, it's not a sin. It is a low moral to put DLC on the disc because you want to make yourself easy, compatibility issue, whatever, laziness, and lock it in the paid wall. It is sort of a dick move, excuse the language, but again, it's not illegal. However, you also gotta keep in mind that one, even Michael Pachter said it, there is no rule how DLC basically how it should be distributed. If it's locked behind a paywall, excuse me. Hey, it may not be illegal, but I know the moral's bad. But again, like I said, it's not illegal. But here's another rule about dislike content. Everybody should not support dislike content, but here's the common rule: is if the data from the download, let's just say the download product, let's just say a fighting game, say Mortal Kombat 10. All right, let's say okay, let's say Jason Voorhees. He's gonna be the first DLC. So yeah, I heard he's in there because you can play him in the challenge tower, the living tower. But here's the rule: if say Jason Voorhees, if a data miner was able to hack it and trying to play Jason Voorhees, and the guy is unplayable and is messed up, let's just say, in other words, if the character's data is only say, I'm trying to be nicer, let's just say 25% and lower, and it's not playable, or when you play him, it messes up your game, then that's okay. Because it's not playable. It is not playable. Because the thing about the downloadable content is, it's not that easy just to put it in on the game. You need to have some sort of door, a key, a gateway to do it. So you do need to put partial of the data on the disk to make it run. So if Jason Voorhees if a data miner played the game and he's really messed up when you play him, and then you don't understand what he's doing and he's very unbalanced, then yeah, that's you probably can give that a pass. What went wrong with Street Fighter Cross Tekken was the 12 characters on the disc were 90% done. Yeah, there may not be unbalanced, but for goodness sake, they're 90%. They're almost ready. They're almost ready. And they showed it on YouTube before Capcom basically flagged them because They think it, oh, well, copyrighted, which is BS. They bought the game. If they're 90%, they are playable. Yeah, they're not unbalanced, but they're 90%, they're playable. I mean, another good example that this lack content in a good way was Jill Valentine and Shuma Gorath in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. From what I heard, they were 25% done in the disc, and when people tried to play them, especially Jill, she was very broken. She was just like teleporting left and right, like you don't even know what's going on. Like, wait, what? I don't understand this. She's just like from one screen to another. So again, it's an incomplete character. And the same goes with Scarlet in Mortal Kombat 9. Someone did data mine Scarlet, and yeah, I think she was very, very unplayable. I think she was, from what I heard, they say it was 20%. I could be wrong. Maybe 25. Let's just say 25 or below. Yeah, she was unplayable. It glitches the game. It crashes the game. There you go. So that's when this like content, to some extent, you get away with it, is when that DLC is lower than 25%. Yeah, I don't know about Goro. That's the thing. Some say he was already completing the game. And if Goro is, let's just say, above 25%, or let's just say he's basically 50% or above, then NetherRealm, Warner Brothers Interactive, Ed Boon, shame on you. Shame on you. You know people don't like this slot content there. But if Goro was unplayable without that paywall, then you get away with it. And another problem with that game is, of course, everybody knows, microtransaction. Oh boy. So, microtransaction, so you can do easy fatality, especially when you're playing it online. I guess, you want to gloat when you win. You do easy fatality, which you can do fatality because, Mortal Kombat is, if you don't know, even if you win the game, if you can't do the fatality, fail. So, again, wow. Microtransaction on a retail game. Yeah, it's optional, but it's like a red stain on a white shirt. It bothers you because it's there. You see it. You can't remove it. Like a stain. I mean, people were complaining already that the hub was already disgusting because the first thing you see is get Goro in the store. That's kind of like a jerky. That should not. You're advertising a DLC. Wow. So the game also itself has advertisement saying, "Oh, you want a full experience of Mortal Kombat 10 X Goro." You can see Goro there. Real shame. Or another one is for $20, an unlock key. Okay, well, I don't think that's really bad because I have seen this unlock key. They did it with King of Fighter. They did it with Guilty Gear unlocking key. I don't think that's bad, but the problem really with Mortal Kombat 1 and the reason why they're pushing this, because the day one patch for Mortal Kombat X, it makes it harder for people to get the coins to open up the crypt. That they're trying to say, oh, is it taking too long? You're not getting enough coins. Go to the online store. There's a $20 add-on. You can unlock everything. Wow. So basically, Mortal Kombat X game, beautiful it may be, is a big advertisement for DLC. Wow, really shame. And now it's becoming a norm to have this lot content that has 25% or above, adding microtransaction to a retail game, and screwing the game itself so you can go get the add-on. Again, this works on a free-to-play game because you're starting free. You want to enhance your game, you want to get it better, boom, you gotta pay. Is it possible to finish a game that's only free? Certainly. It'll take a long time, but that's the point. So, I mean, Warner Brothers Interactive, NetherRealm, Mortal Kombat crew, Ed Boon, really shame on you for Mortal Kombat X. The game is good, I can understand, but like a roll is with its story. There is some disgusting part there, microtransaction, and I hope this content is in the right way, but if it is in the wrong way, shame on you. And the Crypt Unlucky, really, oh my gosh. Okay, well, anyway, those are that's my thoughts on Dynasty Warrior 8's dub, which is, I guess, not bad. I guess it's balanced. You don't need dub on every section because you know what, talking. But in reality, also, it's kind of unfortunate how the market have changed. The market now is so different that even in a retail game, you still have to nickel and dime your fans. It's unfortunate. So there you have it. Those are my V block for this batch. And there'll be, and also I just want to make an announcement that next week I'm going to make a special announcement. It's basically something about what's going to happen during in May, and let's just say the first week of June. And you know what I mean. I done this last year, so I'm going to do it again this year. So stay tuned for that. So that's it for now. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Alright, I forgot to mention this on my main vlog. I want to also give more backstory about Mortal Kombat X. Again, the game is good from what I heard. I'm planning to get it if there's a sale or markdown because that's just me. I'm not like really super excited. I gotta get it in day one. But I know when I play online, I'm gonna suck. But that's a different story. But there is a backstory about Mortal Kombat X and why they're pulling it out of this add-ons, microtransaction, and crazy DLC. Okay, first of all, when they announced Mortal Kombat X coming, they also announced that they already, with the plan with the main game, they're also already creating DLC for the game. You go, oh, for crying out already, you're already making the main game automatically. You have to go DLC as soon as possible. Really, really, NetherRealm Studio? Really, are you that greedy? Well, it may be greed in one perspective, but the thing is that Ed Boon even admitted it that that's how they basically gonna need to make a profit. They have said it that for them just making a $60 base game and that's it wouldn't cut for them anymore. They do need to make a lot of profit for the game. They gotta basically try and avoid breaking even. Because I know some of the games to some extent, I think they were only breaking even. I know Mortal Kombat versus DC didn't really sell well. It sold mediocre at best, and not a lot of. They didn't make a lot of profit out of it. That even the DLC they're supposed to have, Kung Lao and Doomsday, they were scrapped because he just said, Midway couldn't really afford it, so that was also the problem. So, like I said, when Warner Brothers bought Midway, needs to basically figure out ways how to make Mortal Kombat X more profitable. So that's why now he's putting in microtransaction in the game, just like other retail games, and also DLC. And again, DLC. Thank goodness they're not day one DLC in my opinion, because that's not a good thing. Because if you do day one DLC, it basically sends the message, "Oh, why can't you just put it in the game?" And again, the reason also why they need to do DLC is they need to make profit on the game. It is unfortunate also that the season pack, I know you do get a discount, you do get a free costume. In my opinion, it's still expensive for $30 for 4 characters and 12 or 4 characters and 16 no 16 no 12 cosmetic costume. Not a lot of people care about the costume. They just want the character. Come on, make the costume at least to some extent free. This is ridiculous, really. I know it costs money to put all those costumes, but still, it is unfortunate that when you have to find ways, and this is the way you'll find this is your solution: microtransaction in retail game, too many cosmetic costume, and you think that's okay. It does send a bad message. Even so, it is optional. Like I said before, it is a red stain on a white shirt. It's just not good. Hopefully, Warner Bros. Interactive, NetherRealm Studio, Ed Boon. Hopefully, for the next game, you're not gonna pull this because to some extent, even the game is so beautiful. So, as from what I heard, the gameplay is awesome. Online, I'm not really an online person, so I really don't care. It's kind of disgusting putting those microtransactions in DLC. And the sad part is that you even advertise DLC. The first screen you see when you enter the game, Goro DLC, right on your face. That should be like for the consumer's option if they want to go. Don't plaster it in the face. It's like you're shoving it to their throat. That's really unfortunate. So yeah, that's just basically more backstory about Mortal Kombat X Y. It has microtransaction and too many DLC because in the end of the day, they do need to make a lot of profit because they know Injustice made a lot of profit. Mortal Kombat 9, I think to some extent, made a lot of profit. Push comes to shove, I think just like Shimune for the Dreamcast, even the game sold well. They probably weren't making a lot of money back, and they're trying to push that. So that is unfortunate, but we'll see what happened in the long run. But to Ed Boon, gotta fix that stuff, man. Very, very low morale what you did with Mortal Kombat X.